everybody. How's it going? Man, what a good day. What a good day it is so far. And I've got a lot to share with you today on the Instagood Show. This is the show that's all about Instagram for the church, and we're helping you get Instagood at Instagram. Join one of the fastest growing, if not the fastest growing, platforms for social media that's happening right now in our world, and one of the best for organic engagement, one of the best for reaching people one-to-one that churches are using right now. So lots of stuff to hit today. First of all, I want to let you know about some things. First, the Insta Summit is coming. So if you haven't signed up for the Insta Summit, go to theinstasummit.com and get your free ticket. Now, the cool thing about this is it's a one-day summit. You know, it's like we just finished She Leads, which was really great. It'll be very much like that, except this is going to be about Instagram. Now this is just some of the speakers. Kenny, that's Dustin Stout in the bottom corner. He used to run stuff for Michael Hyatt. You've got Clark Campbell there, who runs Reverb agency, and they're incredible. They do stuff for basketball teams and whatever. They're awesome. Jonathan Malm, we all know him and love him. Jason Caston is great with, he's worked for AT&T. Holly Tate is from Vanderbloemen. Bo Coffrin is a social media Instagram guru, and of course Katie and Haley Vituris, who's going to talk to us about influencer marketing. Can't wait for that. Just to name a few, there's several on here that you might know. And gosh, guys, you need to get a free ticket for this. But if you want to do the on-demand, get the later pass. It's only $97. You can watch it whenever you have time, because I know time is always an issue. But the Insta Summit is coming. It's going to be, I don't know if you saw that. Let me put that back up. April 27th through the 29th. It's all online. So no risk of coronavirus. I know that's happening right now, and that is a huge deal. Hopefully you've got plans for how you're communicating that to your churches. Actually, if you want to go to my Instagram at Seth Muse, in the stories, I got an email from Capital One today that was really great for directing people to use their digital tools instead of coming to the bank and getting out. So if you're thinking, hey, this might be a great chance to really boost, I hate to say it, I don't mean to be crass, but just for the sake of argument, it is a good opportunity to get people used to using your online giving and your online church places. So or in communicating with you digitally, if you struggle with that, because that's really a better place right now for things like this. So it's an opportunity to help people understand how to use it, because they're motivated to use it right now. But if you have a strategy or whatever, share it in the comments. Speaking of sharing things in the comments, I've got a giveaway that I want to give today for anybody who's watching the show. So if you're tuning in today, in the comments, I just want you to comment, I want free music. And I'm giving away a 1-year free subscription to Missional Score. Missional Score is what we looked at last time. I'll bring it up again here in a second and show you Missional Score. Missional Score. I meant to bring this up. Sorry. Missionalscore.com. And what they are is a music site. It's kind of like a Soundstripe or something like that. But it's for music for church videos. And it's a really great tool. Let me show you right now. Missional Score. Here we go. Music for church videos. You can see that they've got great stuff it's $99 value that I'm giving you. I'm giving one person a free 1-year account to this. So, hey Sarah, how's it going? If you want access to this, comment on this video, I want free music, and I will pick a winner at the end of the show or after the show's over, and let you guys know who wins this free 1-year subscription to the Missional Score to get music for your videos and stuff. They're royalty free. You get unlimited downloads. It's really, really great. And some of these are very up to date, very cool sounding tracks. So there you go. That's what I'm doing. It's a free giveaway, Missional Score. We'll come back to that at the end here. All right. So one more thing I want to talk about. Oh, Sarah wants free music. Okay, cool. Well, let's see who else wants free music. Anybody else out there want free music? Let me know. I'll choose somebody at the end to win that. Okay. So one more thing I wanted to talk about here in the show before we get going, and that is that we're going to be moving the time of this show just a little bit. So here's what's happening. beginning next week, we're going to start at 2:15 Eastern, 1:15 Central. So we're going to just make it an hour later to give people time to get back from lunch and get here and settle in and watch the show. So we're going to be moving this next week on Thursdays to 2:15 Eastern. So make sure you watch that. I'm going to move the date around in the event that I created in the group, and you'll see the times come up and when I create the events and stuff with Ecamm and all that during the week. So new time, we're going to be starting this next week. So make sure that you are, that you're paying attention to that and you're ready to go. So anywho, let's move on to our first section of news. We've got lots of news today. That was the news, the FAQs. I wanted to show you this, something that I found that's being tested, and I want to demonstrate to you what is coming. You know how you can post your Instagram stories and set it up to go to your Facebook stories as well, but you can't go back from Facebook to Instagram? Well, Facebook is sort of testing some things. Check this out. Facebook stories, they test, oh man, I really hate these giant ads on places like TechCrunch. What an annoyance. And they don't go away till you scroll way down. There you go. Get out of the way. Now you can see the headline. Facebook story. Oh my gosh, and it's back. Oh, this is the definition of invasive and annoying advertisements. Okay. So Facebook story. Can't even see the headline. Facebook stories test crossed posting to its pet Instagram. Pet Instagram. How dare you? All right. So it's testing this idea that you can post to your Facebook story and then share it to your Instagram story. So going back. So there's this complete connection between stories for Facebook and Instagram. Another bit of news that's crazy, just related, not really Instagram, but did you know LinkedIn is testing stories? So we're going to have Facebook stories, LinkedIn stories, YouTube has stories, Instagram stories, Snapchat stories, Facebook stories. So many stories to tell. Oh my gosh. It's getting exhausting to keep up with some of this, but they are testing this back and forth. So just so that you're aware, that is a thing that is happening. So pay attention to that. You may see that coming up soon. You may have some options change for you to be able to do it. And that is what we're talking about. So let's go back here. All right. So let's talk about our FAQ. Today on the show, I wanted to talk about this common question that people ask, and it is this: should we set up multiple Instagram accounts for ministries in our church? That's often a question. Should we set up multiple accounts? Now, there's a couple of reasons, things that I would ask. Basically, 3 questions I would ask that I'm going to share with you that when someone says, hey, we want to start an Instagram account for blank, what should you say? What should you do? First, I would stop and say, what is the goal for having that? Why would you want that? Like, what are you trying to do with an Instagram account for blank? I had a person come to me once and say, we really want to start an Instagram account for our senior adults ministry. And I said, okay, why do you want to do that? And the reason was, we just feel like we need to have one. I was like, that's not a good reason. And then I was able to say to them, well, do you know that there's not a ton of senior adults on Instagram? Maybe that's not the best platform for you, and kind of lead them through that. But if they don't have a goal, like what do they really want to do with Instagram? Is it to connect with a particular crowd they feel is unconnected with? Is it that they feel some group is growing in this ministry in the church that's unrepresented or has no place to connect, or we can't really display? Maybe the solution then isn't having an Instagram. Maybe it's a takeover of your church Instagram for a week or something like that. So it allows you to kind of see what is the problem that you're trying to solve with an Instagram account, and maybe there's another solution. So the next question I would ask is, how would this Instagram account that you want to start be unique? What's special about this group that you want to reach this different group other than what we are already doing? And it kind of ties into the first question a little bit. Like, what is it you're trying to do that's different? Why do a separate one instead of doing something else? So coming up with solutions for that. And here's the big question I would ask if they want to start an Instagram account, because so many times you'll have church members, church staff, church leaders come up to you as a communication director and say, we want to start this. And the reason is because one person came up and said something to them, and now it's a reaction, right? It's not a thought through process of what are we doing. And so I would ask, will it last? Who's going to be managing it? And are they going to stick with it? Where are you going to be with this thing in 6 months? Because if they don't have an answer to that, then it's not well thought through, and it's not smart to start something that's going to fizzle out and make you look like a failure. It's going to make our church look like we don't follow through on things, or we just let things die, or we just start a bunch of stuff and we get all this hype and then it fizzles out. And you don't want that to be your reputation, especially online, because that's so typical of ministries and businesses and churches that don't think through what they're doing. It erodes trust with your people. And so you want to keep that trust strong with your people. And one of the ways you do that is you do what you say, and say what you do, say what you're going to do, and then you do what you say. You're going to follow through. So if we're going to start an Instagram account, then how are we going to do it? Who's going to run it? Who's in charge? Do they know they can't just, so there needs to be a process, right? Which is what we're about to get to here in a second, which is going to be great. So if you're starting an Instagram account, somebody comes to you and says, I want to start an Instagram account, ask, what's your goal? How is it unique? And who's running it? How is it going to last? Those three groups of questions, I would ask that before you say yes. Because sometimes you might need an account. And if they have great answers to those questions, then yeah, let's start one. Let's get it. Let's get it going. Give them policies, etc. And I'm going to tell you about this in a second. Here. So that's the FAQ for today. It leads into the tips and such for this week. I saw this question in the group this week, and it was asked about someone had started a rogue Instagram account, or a rogue account of some sort, but I'm going to relate this to Instagram here. They started a rogue account. It's an account that just kind of popped up. The communication team didn't start it. The pastors didn't start it, or maybe one of the staff members started it. And it's all of a sudden, here's our student ministry Instagram account. And you're like, whoa, didn't know we had that. And you're surprised. What do you do in those kinds of situations? How do you handle that? And so let's talk through what it looks like when there's a rogue account started, because we know this has happened, right? You've got one Bible study that meets on Thursday nights. It has 10 people in it. And then, it's got an Instagram account, a Facebook page, and it's running ads in the name of your church. You're like, what is happening? Where did all this come from? Who's doing this? You don't know anything about it. And are they doing it correct? Are they representing us correct? So anyway, let's talk about this. How should we deal with this? First, I think if this hasn't happened, or if it has happened, either way, your first step is you have to have a staff and general social media policy in place. And of course, in that policy, you want to include how staff behave on social, et cetera, and those kinds of things you expect as a church. But one of those provisos in there is, if you're going to start a social media channel of any kind, here's your process. It needs to be laid out really clear. You talk to these people, you get approvals here, you fill out a form, even you what is your goal? You can ask all these questions, and make sure there is a process that is in place that they know about, and you communicated to them, here is how we're going to do this if you want to start something. Because you don't want to be the person that always has to come in after they've started something they're excited about without asking, and telling them to shut it down, and go, shut it down. You don't want to be shut it down person. That nobody likes shut it down person. And so the more you can avoid being in that position, the better. So have a policy in place. Make sure that in that policy it includes a roadmap for how things get done and approved when starting new Instagram accounts, especially. That's something super important. So if you have that, great. If you don't, get that made. Even if you already have a problem and you're going to have to solve it with, while DJ revolves it. So you've got to figure this out. All right. So second, what I would do is, once you have that policy made, I would find out who made the account. Who is it that created the account, that's running it, who approved it? Well, maybe it's the department lead, maybe an intern did it and had no idea they weren't supposed to, but the department lead approved it and they definitely knew they weren't supposed to. Whatever the case is, find out who it is that said, yes, we can do this, and go directly to them. And if it's an intern or somebody that really isn't a decision maker, definitely you want to protect them, because you don't want to hurt them and injure their feelings about working on a church staff immediately by coming in and going, hey, you can't do blah, blah, blah. You don't want to do that. So go to the person who's over them and say, hey, did you know that this happened? Can you investigate this for me? I'll give you an example. I once had a parent come to call me, and I was a communication director, and this parent was actually an elder in our church and said, my kids came home last night asking for a Snapchat because they wanted to follow the student ministry Snapchat. And I was like, what student ministry Snapchat? We're not supposed to. We actually had a policy at that time where we're not going to do Snapchat. And I thought I had communicated it, but maybe probably hadn't communicated it as clearly as I wanted to. But I had to go, okay, well, we're not supposed to do that. I will get to the bottom of it. And we don't have an official student ministry Snapchat is what I told her. We don't. So I'm going to go figure this thing out. So anyway, I call up the department head and say, hey man, here's what happened. Do you know anything about this? And he said, no, I had no idea that was started. So asking questions and having conversations is the overall big answer to this problem. Ask questions and have conversations, and you'll win at this. So I asked him, hey, did you know anything about this? He said, no, I haven't heard anything about that. I don't think we should have one either. So I didn't even have to offer that up. And I was like, cool. Well, it's actually part of our policy not to have one. I'm sorry I didn't communicate that with you well enough that you didn't know that. But would you mind looking into that and getting that shut down? And I'll communicate with the parent that, this is being taken care of, and that we actually don't have one. We're going to shut that down. He's like, no problem. Got it. And so we worked on that together, and he shut it down, and I was able to go back to the parent and say, hey, we got to the bottom of this. Here's the deal. And I mean, this was a bigger church. So, I mean, this didn't take a ton of time. So if you're in a smaller church, this is totally something that you can spend some time on, be personal and happen, work with people. So I actually found out who made it. And then I went to the person who made it or their boss. So once I did that, we figured out what's going on. Now, what happens if you get to this place and you go, hey, tell me what happened? And they go, oh yeah, we started one. We love it. We're going to do it. And you're like, hold up. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. What do you do? Right? So here's what I would do. Before you ever go to that person, I would make sure you have a conversation with your boss and let them know that here's what happened. I'm going to go speak to whoever it was, and I wanted you to know this is how I feel about it. This is the policy I've written. I want to make sure we're on the same page. And you guys have that discussion. And once you get on the same page, then you can go to that department lead or staff member or volunteer, whoever did it, and say, hey, what are you trying to get with this account? Because here's the thing. You want to ask this question. You don't want to come in with like, hey, this is our policy. We don't do that. I know that sounds crazy, but you come in and go, why did you know about this? And if they say yes, the next question you ask is, well, tell me about what you are trying to do with that. Why do you think we need one of those? And you can even say, because, hey, we have a policy that says, I'm sorry you didn't really know about it, but, we have a policy that says we're not going to do those, but I'm open to hearing why you think we need to. Is there something I'm missing? Because that offers like an opportunity for a conversation and say, is there something I'm missing here? Is there value here that I don't see? Because here's the deal. I'm 41. I don't do Snapchat. I observe sometimes on TikTok. I'm not going to create TikTok. I mean, it's just not my thing. So I'm like, what do I do with this? I may be disconnected and not get it at all. And I need to be able to objectively say, maybe there's something here I don't see. And then we get the chance to hear them out. And if they're very adamant about it, they're willing to die on this hill, it's worth hearing and say, okay, hold on. Here's what we think. What do you think about this? Do you think it's a thing? All right. Well, and at the end of that conversation, if you're in a place where you feel like maybe there's something we can do with this, then you have the opportunity then to work with them. And I would say, okay, well, here, let us help you, because here's our policy. We want to make sure they give us the passwords, all this stuff. And we want to help you do it, because here's the thing. You want to have one hand on the wheel rather than no hand in the back seat, kind of hoping we don't die. So you want to make sure you have one hand on the wheel if you're going to allow it. And so you need to have some kind of input. Let us help you with content. Let's help you with strategy. Let's help you do this so that, you can make sure the brand's protected, all that kind of stuff you need. But it also allows you a chance to see in and monitor and make sure it's doing what they said it will do, where you guys can set some goals and get some things going. And you can coach them to be good at social media, because then down the road, you're not having to manage a social media site, an Instagram account that you are like, nobody's doing it, I better do it. You don't want to do that. So it allows you to coach them. And so if you've got a person doing a rogue account and they're adamant about it and there's a chance it might be good, then this conversation gives you an opportunity to help them do it and keep one hand on the wheel. But let's say you hear them out, you hear their whole thing and you're like, no, this is not a good deal. Now you can say, well, I hear you. I totally appreciate your position, your point of view, but I really still feel like this is the best thing. Let's not do this right now. Let's go have a discussion with, and you can list your boss, because we agreed on this, but we'd love to hear what you had to say. Maybe let's hear what you have to say. And if you can just say, this is the end of the conversation. We're not talking about it anymore. It's up to you. But I probably would say, look, I don't think this is a great idea. I think my boss and we talked and they definitely disagree too, that it's probably not a good idea. So we're going to say, let's not do this right now. If you want to talk about it more, you can with us. And then we might do this. And if you're going to let them go, you might even say, like, let's try this for 6 months and see how we're doing at 6 months. And if this is still working, or if the trade-off is not good, then let's not do it. So have that conversation. But here's the thing. Last step 4, 6, I don't know which it is now. Make sure always, no matter what you do, whether you're shutting it down or whether you're letting it go, you're getting the password to that account. You get passwords to all social media accounts that represent your church. That they are on file. They are available to a certain group of people to keep accountability. They have to be current. If you change it, you have to update it. Those are policies you have to put in place. And it should be a part of your whole system anyway of how you get things started, is that you start the account. They don't. You set it up. You create the bio. You do all the things you need to do. Use them as input. Have them involved. But if that's part of if you're going to have a new Instagram account set up, you're the one setting it up and you're the one getting it ready, because that way you can ensure that it fits in your guidelines and actually does what's best for the whole thing on Instagram at all to make it successful. So that's what I would do if you have some rogue accounts pop up on Instagram. You're going to have the password. There's no way to manage an Instagram account without it. You have to be able to log in yourself, and there's one username, one password. So you want to make sure that you've got that, and that is always a non-negotiable for any social media account started by anyone at your church that represents your church. Whether it's a Facebook group, you're an admin. If it's an Instagram account, you have the password. If it's a YouTube account, you have it hooked up to, you have access through your Gmail account or whatever. You have access. And that is a non-negotiable rule for social media management in church world, because there will be times they pop up and they start doing crazy stuff and you have no idea. And that's big church, small church, medium church, doesn't matter. So make sure you always have a strict policy that the comms team has the passwords. That is the non-negotiable. So even if, that way, when they know that too, there will be less pop up, because they know they're going to have to let you know that they did it. So that will help you with your system. Make sure you get those passwords. Anyway, that's my tips and such for this week on rogue accounts. If you have questions about rogue accounts or situations that have arisen that don't match any of that, hit me up in the comments of this video and I will answer anything, and so will other people who are probably smarter than me. So for the spotlight for today, I wanted to show you one of our speakers for the Insta Summit. I'm very excited about this. Her name is Kelsey Chapman. And you may not have heard of Kelsey, but she runs the Radiant podcast. It is a great podcast. She says, I'm your cheerleader in taking your dream to done. She is a mentor. She is great with marketing. Her talk at the Insta Summit is all about creating a strong brand on Instagram for your church. And I just wanted you to take a quick look at her Instagram account, her page. You can see all the things that she's kind of into. You can tell there is a definite color scheme and branding that goes with her page, kind of a gold, neutral tones, natural feel, very coffee shop. A lot of pictures of her friends, people are involved. That's part of her brand. And the captions on these are really great too. So let's just go to, and there's not a ton of this kind of stuff, even though let's click that one. There is a little bit of that. So you can see in a season where I can't see what's next, these words found me at just the right time. There it is. That's it. Not all her hashtags are below in other things. in the comment below. So she's doing really great with Instagram. She's super smart. I'm telling you, that conversation blew me away. I was like, man, I need to do some things different. And I think I even said so in the interview when I was talking to her. But notice how her profile is filled out, 66,000 followers. So she's doing this thing, and she's doing it right. Kelsey Chapman, follow her at Kels Chapman, and you can see her and connect with her for the Insta Summit. But she's great. You're going to really love her talk. I can't wait for you to hear it. And that is going to be at the Insta Summit on the 27th. So again, if you are coming in late today, I'm giving away a free 1-year subscription to Missional Score, which is unlimited downloads of music for videos and such like that are geared towards the church. And they're really, really good tracks. They're not like cheesy stuff, like you might get in some other unnamed church music places. I don't know, but these are really, really good. There's a lot of good tracks, a lot of cool upbeat tracks, and some EDM, but also some like guitar stuff, and just very moving, epic things, and some fun light stuff. It's just really, really good. So they actually have a bunch of samples you can listen to on the homepage. Go check it out. So if you're interested, if you want to be a candidate for getting a free 1-year subscription to that site with unlimited downloads, just comment, I want free music, in the comments down below. Hit me up. I want free music, and I'll pick a winner after the show's over and let you know how to get in touch with a Missional Score, and we'll get you that free 1-year subscription. It's great. He set me up with one, and let me tell you, I'm using the heck out of it. I'm about to switch out some of the music to intros this show with it, so hopefully next week I'll have that done. Anyway, so I would love to hear your questions about rogue accounts, about I want free music. What is happening out there in the world of Instagram for you that you could use help with? Because every week we're coming back. Remember, next week we're starting the show with at 2:15 Eastern. It's a new time, 2:15 Eastern, so make sure you're there for that. And so last, for the homework, create a policy for your church about Instagram, about social media, and how to start social accounts. Go ahead and start writing that up. That's your homework for the week. It is valuable to have that on file, and make sure that your leadership approve it and are on board with it. And make sure that they've got the sign off, so that when you have this happen, you have some backing, some strength to go out and say, hey, here's what we're going to do next. Okay. So, that's a lot today, man. It's exciting. I'm loving doing this show, guys. Thank you so much for letting me come into your desktop, mobile screens, VR. I don't know how you're watching this, but I'm enjoying it. I'm really having a great time. If you wouldn't mind, tag somebody that should be watching this show, an Instagram account manager, somebody that does social media that could really benefit from this, or that ask this question. Tag that person, and let's get them connected so that we can help them out. Someone's asking, do you have a skeleton policy? Not yet. Wait, that's not true. I believe we do. There might be one in the files section of this group. So check files. I bet there's a social media policy in there. And whatever it says, I don't know that it has here's how to form an account, but Rachel is asking this. So Rachel, if you want to go check that out, I'll look too, and we can put it in the comments here if we have a link to it. But it should be in the files section over on the left of tabs. One of the tabs says file, and you should be able to find one there. I believe somewhere there's one. There's a million files in there. I know it's crazy, but I'll look too and see if I can find one. If not, I don't have one personally, but ultimately I would say it needs to consist of this. Here's kind of dress code type stuff for staff. Here's your basics, like however your church feels about no cussing, no drinking, that kind of stuff. Put that in there for your staff. And then I would say, if you want to start a social media account that represents the church, here's your process for doing it. We definitely need to include, like, if you're going to talk about the church, here's how some things you can say. Here's how you can say, I don't know. You think about it for your context. But those things need to be involved in a staff social media policy. Because at the end of the day, you want to help staff. Don't look at it as a way to control what might happen. Look at it as a way to empower staff to talk about your church correctly. And that is what builds brand out because they're your best brand ambassadors, man. Your staff can be the best cheerleaders, the best advocates, the best ambassadors for who your church is. But if they don't understand who you are, much less how to talk about you, then, especially in social media where it's so easy and it's so common, then you're not going to get much out of that. It's not going to be valuable to you. So use your staff social media policy, not as a here, don't do this, but as if you want to help us really tell people about Jesus and get people connected here, here's what you say. Here's what you do. Think of it from a positive point of view. Because honestly, I don't want to read a don't do list. I'd rather read a, hey, you're awesome. Here's how you can be awesome online list for staff members. So think of it from that point of view. You're obviously going to have to put some rules in there, but I would still come at it from that point of view. And that's my personal opinion. So hopefully you agree. If you don't, feel free to rip me apart in the comments. I'm a big boy. I can take it. So that's our show for today. Create a social media policy. And second little assignment, sign up for the Insta Summit. It's going to be great. Anywho, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. I love doing this with you. I love Instagram. It is a fast growing, 500 million daily active users, third largest platform, and the fastest growing in 2019, and definitely going to be the fastest growing in 2020 platform. And then last but not least, time spent on a social media platform, number one, and I think this is not counting YouTube because it's YouTube. YouTube's probably number one. But Facebook had like 38 minutes, and I think Instagram, 38 minutes a day people spend on Facebook on the average. I think Instagram is about to take them over. We'll see. So anyway, thank you guys for watching the Insta Good Show. I'm Seth Muse. You can follow me on Instagram at Seth Muse. I'd love to have you over there hanging out with me. And comment below. Let me know if you have any questions. And I will see you guys later.